Hello, my friend. How are you doing today? Are you watching this while enjoying your morning tea on the porch? Maybe from the comfort of your recliner. Or are you listening while walking around the neighborhood? Wherever you are, thank you. Thank you for showing up for your health today. Now let me ask you something that might hit close to home. Have you ever heard that carbs are bad? That if you want to stay healthy after 60, you need to avoid them like the plague? Well, what if I told you some carbs could actually help you live longer? Yes, you heard me right. There are certain foods, real whole foods, that contain what scientists call super carbs. These are not your everyday pastas and pastries. These are the kinds of nutrients that fuel your body's natural defenses. They help fight inflammation, support digestion, and even lower the risk of cancer. And yet, so many people throw them out with the bathwater because they do not understand the difference. Today, we are going to talk about those foods, what they are, why they matter, and how to use them in your everyday meals. We will talk about blueberries, flax seeds, turmeric, and something called supermolecules that live inside the plants you might already have in your kitchen. Stick with me until the end, because tip number 5 is the one most people overlook, and it is something that could make a real difference in your daily energy and long-term health. Before we dive in, tell me this in the comments. Where are you watching this from today? Your kitchen? Your garden? I love reading your answers and knowing where my Longevity Life family is tuning in from. All right, ready to uncover the truth about carbs? Let's go. Let me take a moment to speak from the heart. You know, aging is a privilege, but it sure does not come without its surprises. You might wake up one morning and wonder, why do I feel so stiff? Or look at your blood work and ask, when did my numbers creep up like this? If that sounds familiar, please know you are not alone. Most of us over 60 have noticed changes. Slower digestion, new aches, stubborn weight, and let us be honest, more pills on the nightstand than we would like to admit. It is part of getting older? Yes. But sometimes it feels like we are losing control of our bodies bit by bit. Now here is the part most folks do not realize. Many of those frustrating changes are not just part of aging. They are signals, clues, quiet messages from your body telling you something is off. And in many cases, that something is chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is like a slow-burning fire inside the body. It does not cause a fever or sharp pain, but it quietly damages tissues, disrupts hormones, wears down your immune system, and makes it harder for your body to repair itself. Doctors now believe that this type of inflammation is the hidden root behind many age-related illnesses. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, arthritis, and even cancer. So what is triggering all this inflammation? It is not just one thing. It is everything we are exposed to. We live in a modern world where invisible toxins are everywhere. They are in our drinking water, our soil, the air we breathe, and perhaps most concerning, they are hiding in the foods we eat every day. Some of these toxins come from chemicals used in farming and food production. Others come from packaging, food coloring, artificial sweeteners, or preservatives. Even healthy-looking items on grocery shelves like rice protein bars or fruit juice can sometimes be loaded with substances that quietly harm our cells. But one of the biggest triggers of inflammation, processed carbohydrates. Yes, those soft sandwich breads. That bowl of sugary cereal, the white rice that seems innocent enough, the granola bar with natural on the label. All of these can send your blood sugar soaring, your insulin levels spiking, and your gut bacteria spiraling out of balance. And what do we do when we realize this? Many of us panic. We go on restrictive diets. We cut out carbs completely. We fear anything with sugar or starch. And that is where the second problem begins. Because by lumping all carbs together, we throw out the good with the bad. We eliminate life-giving foods that our bodies need, especially as we age. You see, not all carbs are the enemy. there is a big difference between refined carbs that harm us and whole food carbs that support our health. The refined ones are stripped of their fiber and nutrients. They digest quickly, spike our glucose, and leave our gut microbiome starving. But the whole food carbs, especially those rich in fiber, antioxidants, and what scientists call a microbiota accessible carbohydrates, do the opposite. These are the carbs that reduce inflammation. They protect your DNA. They support your gut lining, strengthen immunity, and even help regulate blood sugar and blood pressure. But most people never hear this side of the story. We get bombarded with headlines and fad diets, and suddenly we are scared to eat fruit or oatmeal. Some folks even avoid carrots or beans because they heard it somewhere on a podcast. It breaks my heart, because I have seen firsthand what happens when people fear food instead of understanding it. I once had a client, Linda, 67 years old. She came to me exhausted, anxious, and barely eating more than meat and supplements. Why? Because she was told that carbs would feed cancer and make her fat. We talked. We reviewed her habits. We made a gentle shift, reintroducing blueberries, lentils, fresh greens, and yes, even a little sweet potato. 6 weeks later, she was smiling again. Her digestion had improved. Her sleep was deeper. Her blood pressure dropped. And she said something I will never forget. I feel like I am nourishing myself again, not just avoiding stuff. That is the shift I want for you too. Not fear, not confusion, not chasing the latest diet trend, just clarity, confidence, and the comfort of knowing that the right foods, real simple whole foods, can help your body do what it was designed to do, heal and thrive. So let me ask you, now have you ever stood in front of your pantry holding something like oatmeal beans or berries and wondered, is this good for me or bad? If you have, write yes in the comments. I promise you are not alone. And stick around, because in the next section, we are going to unpack exactly what makes a carb harmful versus helpful and how to spot the difference every time. Sound good? Let's keep going. Now that we understand the problem, chronic inflammation, processed foods, and the confusion around carbs, let us break down the science. But do not worry. I promise to keep it simple, just like I would if we were chatting across your kitchen table. Let us start with this word, carbohydrate. A carbohydrate is one of the three main types of food that give us energy. The other two are fat and protein. But here is what most people get wrong. Not all carbohydrates are created equal. Some are like rocket fuel. They burn fast and leave you crashing. Others are like slow-burning logs. They keep your fire going for hours without a spike or slump. The dangerous ones, refined carbohydrates. These are the ones you find in white bread, sugary drinks, cookies, crackers, and even low-fat snacks. They hit your bloodstream fast, spike your blood sugar, and cause a wave of insulin. Over time, this leads to weight gain, fatigue, inflammation, and even insulin resistance. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Scientists have discovered a special kind of carbohydrate called microbiota accessible carbohydrates, or MAEs. Around here, I like to call them super carbs. Why super? Because these are the carbs that fuel the good bacteria in your gut. And that gut bacteria, it is like your internal army fighting inflammation, boosting your immunity, and supporting your brain. When you eat super carbs like lentils or oats, flax seeds, berries, leafy greens, or asparagus, your gut microbes digest them and turn them into powerful compounds called short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. Butyrate is a superstar. It helps reduce inflammation, supports colon health, strengthens your gut lining, and even tells your liver to make less sugar. Let me put it another way. Think of your gut as a garden. If you feed it junk soda, white bread, processed meat, it is like dumping garbage on your soil. But if you feed it super carbs, you are planting seeds, watering them, and giving the sunshine they need to grow. Your gut then rewards you, with better digestion, clearer thinking, more stable energy, and even better sleep. Take blueberries, for example. Just 1 cup a day provides around 4 grams of fiber and is rich in anthocyanins, those powerful blue pigments that act like antioxidants, fighting off cellular damage. Studies show blueberries can help reduce blood pressure, improve memory, and decrease muscle soreness in older adults. Or consider flax seeds. 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed provides about 3 grams of fiber and is packed with a compound called lignin. These lignins are known to reduce the risk of breast cancer in women by up to 30%. That is huge. But here is the thing. If you eat the whole flaxseed without grinding it, you will not absorb any of the benefits. It just passes through your system. So always grind your flaxseed fresh and store it in the fridge in an airtight jar to preserve those delicate oils. Now, let us talk about rice, a staple in many diets. You may have heard that brown rice is healthier than white rice. That is mostly true when it comes to nutrients. But here is the surprise. Brown rice contains more arsenic, a naturally occurring toxin that accumulates in water and soil. Too much arsenic over time can increase your risk of cancers and damage organs like your liver and kidneys. So what do? First, you can soak your rice and cook it in a 6-to-1 water ratio, 1 cup of rice to 6 cups of water. Then drain and fluff. This reduces arsenic by up to 60%. Second, consider alternatives like quinoa or rolled oats. These are rich in protein, easy to digest, and much lower in heavy metals. And let me say, this loud and clear adding fiber to junk food does not make it healthy. I have seen sodas that brag about added fiber protein bars that are just candy bars in disguise, and bread that says whole grain when it is mostly flour and sugar. True supercarbs do not come with a long ingredients list. They grow from the ground. They look like food your grandparents would recognize. If you are in a grocery store and trying to decide what to buy here, is a trick ask yourself, did this grow on a tree or out of the soil? If the answer is yes, and it is still in its natural form, chances are it is a supercarb. But if it is boxed, frozen flavored, or made in a factory, think twice. And remember, it is not about being perfect. It is about making better choices more often. If this breakdown helped clear up some of the confusion, would you let me know? Type clear now in the comments so I know this message is landing. And if you have a favorite plant-based carb that works for you, share it. Someone else might discover something new because of you. Next up, I am going to share a true story about someone who knew all this by heart long before science caught up. She was in her 90s, sharp as ever, and taught me one of the simplest but most powerful food habits I use to this day. Stick around because her story will inspire you, and the habit she passed down might just become part of your daily routine too. Let me tell you about someone very special. Her name is Louise. She is my mother-in-law, and as I record this podcast, she is 93 years old and still sharp as a tack. I had the privilege of living with Louise for 8 years. And let me tell you, there is no better way to learn about health, longevity, and wisdom than sharing a kitchen with someone who has been through nearly a century of life. Every time I went to the store without fail, she would say, "Please don't forget my ground flaxseed." At first, I did not think much of it. I thought maybe it was just one of those quirky habits older folks have, like collecting salt packets or saving rubber bands. But then I asked her why. She looked me in the eye and said, "Because it keeps me regular. It keeps my joints happy and it keeps me out of the doctor's office." She was not wrong. Louise may not have had a PhD or a degree in nutrition, but what she did have was experience, and that matters just as much. She knew that something as simple as 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed each day made a difference in how she felt, and she listened to her body in a way many of us forget to do. Now I will never forget the first time I tried to eat whole flax seeds. Just like that, plain and raw, I popped a spoonful in my mouth and started chewing. Let me tell you, it was like biting into tiny little pebbles, crunchy sharp and not going anywhere. I laughed, nearly choked, and realized very quickly Louise was right again. You have to grind flax seeds. Otherwise, they pass through you untouched, and all those wonderful nutrients go to waste. So now I do exactly what she taught me. I buy them whole. I grind just enough for the week. I store them in a small glass jar in the fridge to keep them fresh. It has become part of my routine, just like brushing my teeth. And when I do it, I think of her. You know, the older I get, the more I realize the best lessons are not found in textbooks or flashy TikTok videos. They are passed down one conversation, one grocery list, one habit at a time. Louise also had this little ritual. Every Sunday, she would eat a small bowl of blueberries, just plain. No sugar, no cream. Why blueberries? I asked her once. She said, because they are good for my memory and my legs, and they taste like summer. Beautiful answer. Years later, I read that blueberries are packed with anthocyanins, which support brain health and reduce muscle soreness. Professional athletes use them for recovery. But Louise, she just knew they worked. We often forget that the people who came before us had their own science, built on paying attention, observing, and repeating what works. Have you ever had a relative or friend who swore by some health trick? Maybe drinking lemon water in the morning or putting garlic in their socks. Some of those ideas might be old wives' tales, but some might just be ahead of their time. If you have a story like that, would you share it with me in the comments? I would love to know what health habits did your parents or grandparents pass down to you. Write it below. It could inspire someone else watching this right now. Back to Louise, she is not perfect. She still sneaks a piece of chocolate now and then. She loves a good grilled cheese sandwich. But her daily habits, those are rock solid. Every morning she moves her body. Every evening she drinks her chamomile tea. And in between, she eats whole simple foods. She listens to her gut. She trusts her routine. And maybe that is the real secret. Not chasing the next big health trend, but building small, consistent habits that work for you. Louise is not on social media. She does not read blogs or health magazines. But she has outlived many who do. There is a quiet wisdom in that. So as we talk about longevity, I encourage you to look around your own life. Who do you know that is aging well? Not just living longer, but living better. Think about what they eat, how they move, how they handle stress. That is the heart of what we are building here with Longevity Life, a space to gather, share stories, and learn from each other. Because science is powerful, but experience is sacred. In the next section, I am going to give you 5 concrete steps you can take starting today to eat smarter, age stronger, and reduce your cancer risk with the power of food. And yes, flaxseed and blueberries will make another appearance. So stay with me. And if Louise ever hears this, I want her to know your habits, your wisdom, your Sunday blueberries. They matter more than you think. Now let us talk action. Because all the knowledge in the world does not mean a thing if we do not put it into practice. So here are 5 powerful science-backed habits you can start today to support healthy aging, reduce inflammation, and fuel your body the right way with super carbs and simple foods. If you have a notebook, grab it. Or save this video so you can come back to it later. These tips are designed to fit into real life. No fancy products, no exotic ingredients, just smart, doable steps. Habit number 1. 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed daily. Let us start with the one that Louise swears by, and so do I. Each morning, add 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed to your oatmeal yogurt smoothie or even a glass of water. Why freshly ground? Because whole flax seeds are hard to digest and will pass through your body unused. You can buy them whole grind, a small batch, using a spice grinder or coffee grinder, and store in an airtight jar in your fridge to keep them from going rancid. 1 tablespoon gives you about 3 grams of fiber, a boost of healthy omega-3s and cancer-fighting lignans that support hormone balance and reduce inflammation. It is a small step with big results. Habit number 2, 1 cup of blueberries per day. Blueberries are rich in antioxidants, especially anthocyanins, that help your body recover from stress, reduce inflammation, and protect your brain. They are also naturally low in sugar and packed with gut-friendly fiber. Enjoy 1 cup per day, fresh frozen, or even freeze-dried, if you are on the go. Add them to breakfast, toss them into a salad, or eat them plain like a snack. A handful of blueberries a day is one of the simplest longevity foods you can give your body. And let me tell you, they taste a whole lot better than pills. Habit number 3, replace white rice with quinoa and oats. Rice is a comfort food for many, but sadly, it is also one of the most arsenic-contaminated grains, especially brown rice, which absorbs more arsenic from the soil than any other grain. Instead, switch to quinoa and rolled oats. These are nutrient-dense, high in fiber, and lower in contaminants. Try this simple recipe. Cook 1 cup of quinoa with water according to package directions. In the last few minutes of cooking, stir in 1/4 cup of thick-cut rolled oats. Let it simmer and cool. You will get a fluffy rice-like texture with added protein and soluble fiber. This combo gives your gut the supercarbs it loves while helping lower cholesterol and stabilize blood sugar. And it still has that warm, satisfying mouthfeel we all crave. Habit number 4, use a water filter daily, not just when traveling. Did you know that up to 45% of tap water in the United States contains forever chemicals that can build up in your body over time? These toxins, like arsenic, PFAS, and other industrial contaminants, are nearly impossible to remove without the right filter. I recommend using a certified home water filter every single day, not just when you travel or when the news says something went wrong with the local water supply. Look for filters that are NSF certified to remove heavy metals, chlorine, and volatile organic compounds. And drink filtered water throughout the day, not just a single glass. Your kidneys, liver, skin, and immune system will thank you. Water is one of the most overlooked detox tools we have. Make it count. Habit number 5, add turmeric to your meals. Just a pinch daily. Turmeric is not just a spice, it is a medicinal powerhouse. It contains curcumin, a compound shown in studies to reduce inflammation, protect DNA from damage, and even support the body's response to environmental toxins. But here is the catch: you need a little black pepper to help your body absorb it. Try adding 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder and a pinch of black pepper to soups, stir-fries, salad dressings, or scrambled eggs. You can even mix it with warm water and lemon for a morning tonic. It is a small daily ritual that goes a long way in supporting your longevity lifestyle. Now let me ask you something: which of these habits are you most excited to try? If you are going to try even just one type, the word "chirai" in the comments. I want to know what step you are taking, and I will be cheering you on. And if you already do any of these, tell us your experience. You never know who might be inspired by your story. Remember, this is not about being perfect. It is about progress, one small change at a time. 1 tablespoon of flaxseed, 1 bowl of blueberries, 1 better water choice. These are the things that build a longer, stronger, healthier life. You do not have to overhaul everything overnight. But if you build your daily routine for seniors around habits like these, your body will respond. Not just with fewer symptoms, but with more energy, clarity, and confidence. In the next section, I will wrap this up with a reminder of why this matters and a sneak peek into our next Longevity Life episode, where we explore morning rituals for people over 60 that boost metabolism, reduce anxiety, and set the tone for a good day. So stay with me. You are almost there. Let us take a breath together. You made it through this entire episode, and that tells me something powerful. It tells me you care, not just about living longer, but about living better. And for that, I want to say thank you. I know today's topic was a lot. We covered invisible inflammation, misunderstood carbs, hidden toxins, and 5 simple but mighty habits to help your body fight back. It is not always easy to change the way we eat or think about food, especially after decades of being told one thing only to discover the science has changed. But the truth is, your body is still listening, it is still working, it still wants to heal, and the beautiful part. Every time you choose a bowl of blueberries over a bag of chips, or drink filtered water instead of soda, or add a pinch of turmeric to your soup, you are telling your body, I've got your back. And your body hears that, loud and clear. Now, let me remind you of the 5 small changes we talked about today. 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed daily. 1 cup of blueberries each day. Swap white rice for quinoa and oats. Filter your water daily. Not just occasionally. Add a pinch of turmeric with black pepper into your meals. None of these steps are expensive. None are extreme. But together they form a routine, a longevity lifestyle that gives your body the tools it needs to protect your DNA, reduce inflammation, and support healthy aging from the inside out. And remember, you do not have to do it all at once. Pick one habit, stick with it for 7 days. Notice how you feel. Then add the next one. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Let me ask you something before we wrap up. What is one thing from this episode that you are going to try this week? Write it in the comments. Seriously, I read them. And when I see your name pop up taking action for your health, it inspires me to keep creating. Also, if you found this episode helpful, would you do me a small favor? Hit the like button. That simple gesture tells YouTube this is content worth sharing. It helps other seniors who are searching for answers to finally find something real, something useful, and something hopeful. Subscribe to this channel, Longevity Life, if you have not already. Because every week, I bring you practical, science-backed, and heart-centered advice tailored specifically for folks in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. This is your community. This is your time. And we are in this together. Now here is what is coming next. In our next episode, we are diving into 3 powerful morning rituals that can reset your metabolism, lower anxiety, and set a calm, clear tone for the rest of your day. We will talk about the first drink your body craves after waking up, a 2-minute stretch that improves circulation and balance, and one unusual breathing technique used by Navy SEALs and therapists alike. If you struggle with grogginess, stiffness, or waking up with a racing mind, that next video is for you. So hit the notification bell so you will not miss it when it drops. And before we go, let me leave you with this. Aging is not about decline. It is about refinement. Like a great piece of art or a well-worn leather chair, time adds character, not flaws. You are not broken. You are becoming. And everything you do for your health today is a way of honoring the decades behind you and investing in the decades still to come. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for showing up for your longevity life. I will see you in the next episode. Until then, stay curious, stay kind to yourself, and stay well.